I believe this version is actually called Energy Rhinoceros. It's a repaint of Energy Rhinoceros, which is primarily an orange figure. And this one's primarily gray, with an added bonus, guns. So this one has free parts and it looks better. This is the version I get. I really like this figure because I really love this black, especially balled up like this. The black is just very cool, very shiny. It feels nice. I don't know. I really like it. I can't say what it is exactly, but it's cool. Let's see. The head sculpt is actually pretty good. Looks like a rhino. It has either an E on it or a backwards E, depending on which angle you look at. And if you cover up the bottom, the visor looks like the rhino's mouth. And so he's like seeing through the rhino's mouth, which is pretty cool. I like the head sculpt. It just has a nice look to it. Some nice details that don't get too obscured by the size of it. So we'll do his energy mode, or his Evo mode. And it's a vehicle mode. Surprisingly, parts clip onto the Mugenbine figure. This piece, these are cut out perfectly so that they fit over pegs that are actually pegging into them. These are kind of difficult to get in. Just anything on those bottoms here. This is actually the rhinoceros head, and it works very well as just a little attachment part. And of course we're missing the best part, which is the drill. So here we have his little vehicle mode. It's a little drill tank. It's kind of nice. I don't know, to me it's lacking something. This version comes with guns that can clip on the top like that. You can also clip them on the... I think I like clipping them on the top. You can clip them anywhere you want to. I don't think there's really any official way, but that looks pretty good. You know, it's a pretty decent looking drill tank. Now what I don't like is you have this one big drill here and these two smaller drills underneath it. It's like, you know, what are they there for? And I was hoping, once I got the figure, that you would be able to take these off and put these on the side and just lower the thing down on the treads, but you really can't because there's one hole here and there's pegs all along the side, and it just, anywhere you put it, there's conflict. It won't go in there. I would really like to find a better drill mode for this because I don't like this aesthetic. It just doesn't look very good to me. No, it doesn't break the toy for me at all, but I would like to find a better one. Here is a real drill tank mode. A big drill centered, and not a bunch of little tiny drills around it. I mean, which is the better drill tank, do you think? And also, I would love to find a way to combine these guys into a gigantic multi-drill tank, but I have not found that yet. And it's just really, it's for me, I don't like the way the drills are underneath. If they sat down, the whole figure was more like, get this to stay for a second. Well, if the figure was more like this, that would please me, but it's not, and I can't figure out how to get it to that. But that's okay, because he has more modes. Alright, for his rhinoceros mode, you'll ball up the Mugenbine figure, start clipping on some parts. Find some other parts to clip on. And there you go, but wait, there's more. So here we have is rhinoceros mode, which I like pretty well. I don't really like the cockpit right there, but you know, just don't look at this button, you won't see it. I like it pretty well. I love this overall shape that he has there. It looks nice and powerful. I actually like to rotate these at about a 45-degree angle. Somehow I like that better. But it has a really very powerful look to him. And also he has the cannons. Sometimes I like to clip them on like this, which I think looks pretty good. Other times I like to clip them on like this, which I also think looks pretty good. You can really do whatever you want to with them. I really like the Rhino mold. The Rhino head is it's good. I love the drill. If you have anything else that's drill-like or horn-like, you can clip it on there instead. I have another piece that I forgot to bring over I was going to use for this. I really like that he's adaptable like that. You know, I guess if I wanted to, I could be incredibly silly, which I do want to. I'm sorry. And do something like this with a horn so large that it's out of the camera. Something that's not good about this mode is that these legs actually tend to fall off pretty well. I'm not sure if it's the way there's a peg here and a peg here. It actually may be this black, or it may be this piece. I'm not sure, but something about this, they fall off rather easily. I'm not quite sure why. Yeah, see, it just fell off. So let me retrieve some parts, and then I'll be right back. Best part of the set is probably this, because you can do the whole row, fight the power bit. It's just a good little drill part. This Rhino head is actually a really good flexible part. It makes a good Rhino head, but it's nice and subtle. And it has lots of pieces all over it. I'll show you in a second something you can do with it. This piece, it serves its function well enough, but it has this little piece here which sticks out and prohibits connecting it in certain ways. And I'm not sure why it sticks out. It doesn't serve a function in either mode. It's on the bottom in both modes, so it's really out of the way. It may have to stick out because of the screw here, but I guess the screw could have been there. Maybe not. I'm not really sure. I'm really not. I don't know why that piece is like that, but it is. This piece is just a sort of a general piece. It's useful enough. Holes there, cut out where other pegs could rest. Now, here you get on to the disappointing part of the figure. There are these and these. And that's because they're not adaptable. There is one peg and one hole for each one of these pieces. I would really expect there to be a hole there, like I could peg these two together, but there isn't. There's, you know, they could have put another peg here, I guess, under that to make it a little more. I mean, but they're just really they're not very adaptable pieces. And this is an earlier figure, so maybe they hadn't decided that they hadn't figured out that they should have made it that adaptable. But this one especially, I think there should be a hole here. For instance, here is Dig Kong's tread piece. Has a peg here, a hole here, two holes there. That's a lot more adaptable. Impact Dial's tread pieces. There's two of them. Look at all those holes. They peg together. That's great. The lack of connectability on these really limits what you can do with the set, and that's unfortunate. That really damages this figure, in my opinion. Because what you would like to do, probably for every set you have, is find some good way to make some sort of super mode or something like that. And you know, you're getting started here, you're like, oh, these work really great as legs. And then you get here. And so you're like, now what? I can't really do anything with that. It's just, it's frustrating, and the figure just could have been a lot better if it did not have that constraint. Now, there are still some cool things you can do with this figure that I like, especially if you have this version. Let's see. I was trying to make some additional little drill type shapes. Here's one of them, a little a drill tank all by itself without the Mugenbine figure. Now, the funny thing about this is if you stand it up, you essentially have a smaller robot and if you have a headpiece, there you go. There's your other robot there, which is kind of silly, but you know, this standing up by itself just looks like a super robot from like the 70s or the 80s or something. I don't know why. It just makes me think of that, especially the music from that era. Something I do like about these pieces together is you can sort of cobble them together to make what works like a pretty good little turret. And it does not really look like a rhino head. And, you know, I guess you can clip this onto your little drill tank too. For a not a bad little drill tank with turret mode. Let's see, it might look better if I did it like this. Yeah, I don't know. You know, whatever you want to do. But that makes a pretty good turret. These pieces are just wonderful. I guess I haven't looked at these pieces. Yet. It's just a generic piece not designed for this set with a peg and a hole and a hole and... I'm sorry, a peg and a peg and a peg and a hole and a hole and a hole. Really adaptable. You know, they fit on the sides, they fit on the backs. Really a very adaptable piece. And they work really good with any other set. Here's... Okay, so as I was going to show you what goes really well, I really like putting this with the Gear Tortoise set. Taking this off. Taking these in. Oh, it wasn't quite the way I meant to do it. I also didn't mean to have the screws up, but whatever. You know, it makes a pretty good cannon tortoise. These are just really good adaptable pieces. The colors are pretty neutral. You can put them with a lot. They go well with a lot of sets. But back to Energy Evo Rhino. Energy Evo Rhino. In addition to this, there was one other thing that I found you can do, which unfortunately you can only actually do with this version that has the guns, because, like I said, some of the pieces on here are just... they're very limited, especially these leg pieces, and so you cannot expand and adapt like you'd like to. But if you have this version, which I've seen a few of them on eBay lately, you can have a Rhino completely independent of the Mugenbine, which just not quite as good looking of a Rhino, but hey, that's. Are you going to argue with me this is a rhinoceros, a robotic rhinoceros? No, I don't think you will. So, I think this set is actually pretty good. It does have some flaws, particularly the drill tank aesthetic. I don't quite like. But I guess the biggest flaws are these two pieces just aren't very adaptable. But I think it's still overall. My tripod's falling apart. I think overall it's still a very good set. It's adaptable. You can do fun stuff with it, especially if you find the version that comes with these wonderful little cannons. I would recommend it. It's a cool figure. Get it.